The ultimatum. The massive alien ship appeared on a Tuesday, because apparently even hostile extraterrestrial civilizations understand that nobody wants to deal with an invasion on a Monday. It materialized above New York City in a way that made physicists weep and traffic cops shrug, just another obstacle blocking the intersection. Lieutenant Dave Cooper was enjoying his third cup of coffee and preparing for another thrilling day of filing reports at the UN Security Council's Extraterrestrial Response Division, a job that had been a complete joke until approximately 8 minutes ago. Now, as he watched the holographic projection of an alien that called itself Supreme Delegate Crix materialize in the middle of the UN General Assembly, he realized his job description had changed from professional paper pusher to humanity's first line of defense. People of Earth, Crix announced, its three mouthparts moving in unsettling synchronization, we are the Galactic Concordant, and we have come to offer you a simple choice, surrender or face annihilation. Cooper took another sip of coffee. That's it? The alien's 6 eyes blinked in sequence. I beg your pardon. I mean, is that all? Just surrender or die. No preamble. No list of charges. No dramatic speech about our primitive ways or our potential or whatever. What? Crick's professional demeanor cracked slightly. This is a standard Class C ultimatum. It's meant to be concise. Yeah, but it feels a bit rushed, you know. Cooper sat down his coffee and stood up. Like, you travel who knows how many light years to get here, and that's your opening line. Seems like a missed opportunity. The alien's skin shifted from blue to a slightly annoyed purple. The ultimatum does not require your critique, human. It requires your answer. Oh, I get that, but while we're on the subject, what exactly are we surrendering to? Like, what's the benefits package here? Do we get dental? Because I've got this wisdom tooth that's been giving me trouble. Professor Mira Patel, who had been frantically taking notes on her tablet, looked up with a gleam in her eye that Cooper recognized from their shared college days. It was the same look she got right before suggesting they calculate the aerodynamics of launching a couch from the physics building roof. Actually, she chimed in, I have several questions about the structural integrity of your ship. The quantum fluctuations alone should be causing. Silence. Crick's hologram flickered with what might have been frustration. This is not a negotiation or a scientific discourse. This is an ultimatum. You have 24 Earth hours to submit your unconditional surrender, or we will demonstrate our power. Cooper raised his hand like an eager student. Quick follow-up question, when you say, demonstrate our power, are we talking about a PowerPoint presentation, or? The hologram vanished mid-sputter, leaving behind a deafening silence and the faint smell of ozone. Well, Cooper said, turning to the assembled representatives of Earth's nations, I think that went pretty well. Mira adjusted her glasses. You do realize you just sassed an alien civilization capable of destroying our planet? Yeah, he grinned, and did you see how easily they got flustered? I think I just found our weapon. Our weapon? Mira, what's the one thing humans are better at than any other species we know of? She thought for a moment. Based on our sample size of exactly one alien encounter, being annoying? Exactly. Cooper's grin widened. And we haven't even started trying yet. The emergency meeting of Earth's military leadership was going about as well as you'd expect, and you gather 30 generals in one room and tell them the fate of humanity might depend on being deliberately irritating. Lieutenant Cooper, let me see if I understand this correctly, General Martinez pinched the bridge of his nose. Your proposed strategy for dealing with an advanced alien civilization is to annoy them into leaving? With all due respect, General, Cooper said, which everyone knew meant he was about to show no respect whatsoever, I've spent 3 years working in government bureaucracy. I know exactly how much irritation it takes to make someone give up and go home. Professor Patel cleared her throat. If I may, I've run some preliminary calculations on what I'm calling the frustration threshold theory. She pulled up a holographic display that looked suspiciously like she'd drawn it in MS Paint. Based on Supreme Delegate Crick's reactions to Lieutenant Cooper's initial questioning, I believe their species has a significantly lower tolerance for what we might call bureaucratic nonsense than humans do. That's impossible, someone muttered. Nobody has a lower tolerance than General Martinez. I heard that, Martinez growled. Case in point, Cooper gestured at the general. Look, we've spent centuries perfecting the art of being absolutely insufferable when we want to be. We've got customer service holds, DMV queues, automated phone systems. We're sitting on a gold mine of psychological warfare here. A Chinese general leaned forward. And you believe this will work better than our nuclear arsenal? Our nukes might destroy their ships, but our ability to ask for a manager will destroy their will to live. Mira clicked to the next slide, which was just a picture of a cat with the word science written across it in Comic Sans. My calculations suggest that if we coordinate our efforts, we can push their entire command structure to the brink of nervous breakdown within 48 hours. How would we even implement such a strategy? Martinez asked, already looking like he regretted the question. Cooper's grin should have been classified as a weapon of mass destruction. Simple, we treat this like what it is, a customer service complaint about their invasion threat. First, we demand to speak to Crick's supervisor. They're the supreme delegate, someone pointed out. Yeah, but are they really supreme if they can't handle a few simple questions? I bet there's paperwork they haven't filed. Did anyone see an environmental impact assessment? Proof of insurance. Mira pulled up another slide, this one showing a complex flowchart that seemed to incorporate both quantum mechanics and internet memes. I have identified 7,423 potential questions we could ask about their organizational structure alone. And that's before we start requesting forms in triplicate. Forms? Martinez's eye twitched. Oh yes, Cooper nodded sagely. All the forms. We'll need them properly notarized, of course, and translated into every Earth language, including extinct ones. Can't be too careful with interplanetary legal documentation, right? A slow smile spread across Martinez's face, the first time anyone had seen him smile in 15 years of military service. You know, when I woke up this morning, I didn't think I'd be considering weaponizing bureaucracy against an alien invasion, but I have to admit there's something beautifully poetic about it. And the best part, Cooper leaned back in his chair, if they actually do provide all the documentation we ask for, we can just claim it was filed with the wrong department. Mira's next slide showed a graph with an exponential curve labeled Alien Sanity versus Human Persistence. Ladies and gentlemen, Cooper addressed the room, I propose we launch Operation Endless Echo, a coordinated campaign of completely reasonable requests that will drive our would-be conquerors to the brink of madness. Who's with me? The room was silent for a moment before Martinez spoke up. God help me, but I'm actually convinced this might work. Professor Patel, how quickly can you formalize these calculations into an official report with appropriate cover sheets? Naturally, I'll need to submit a request for additional research funding first, she replied with a straight face. Probably take a few weeks to process, unless you'd like to speak to my supervisor about expediting it. Martinez's eye twitched again. You're already starting, aren't you? Starting? Cooper smiled innocently. General, we haven't even filled out the preliminary paperwork for beginning to start yet. But don't worry, I have all the necessary forms right here in quintuplicate. The room full of hardened military leaders watched in horror as Cooper pulled out a stack of papers thick enough to qualify as body armor. Somewhere in the distance, a printer began to hum ominously. Humanity's most passive-aggressive counteroffensive was about to begin. The counteroffensive. Hour 1 of Operation Endless Echo began with Lieutenant Cooper sending a 47-page request for clarification about the Galactic Concordance invasion permit status. By Hour 2, Professor Patel had submitted 16 separate environmental impact assessment forms, each requiring responses in triplicate and notarization by a certified interstellar public notary. Update from the Australian contingent, announced Technical Specialist Wong, monitoring the global communication feeds. They're demanding the aliens provide proof of quarantine certification for any potential space bacteria. Their forms are being submitted in both English and emoji. Cooper nodded approvingly from his makeshift command center, which consisted primarily of a desk fortress built from stacked bureaucratic manuals. Excellent. How's the EU team doing? They've initiated a GDPR compliance review. Wong grinned. Apparently, threatening planetary destruction counts as processing personal data of EU citizens. The alien response materialized exactly 3 hours and 14 minutes into the operation. Supreme Delegate Crick's hologram appeared, this time sporting a distinctly more agitated shade of purple. What, Cricks demanded, all three mouths twitching simultaneously, is the meaning of these documents? Cooper looked up from his paperwork with an expression of innocent confusion. Oh, those? Just standard procedural inquiries. By the way, we noticed your threat of planetary annihilation didn't include an accessibility statement. We'll need that translated into all 7,117 known human languages, including extinct ones. Do you have someone on staff certified in Linear A? Linear, what? This is absurd. We demanded your surrender. About that, Mira interjected, pushing her glasses up her nose. We've been reviewing your ultimatum, and there seems to be some ambiguity in the term surrender. Could you please provide a detailed definition? Preferably with citations from at least 3 accredited galactic legal databases. Crick's hologram flickered. The term is self-explanatory. Is it though? Cooper pulled out a thick binder. Because according to Earth's Combined Legal Precedents, Volume 437, Section 12, Subsection 9.3, Paragraph 4, Line 16, the term surrender, in an interplanetary context requires specific delineation of terms, conditions, and warranty information. Warranty? What warranty? Exactly. Cooper exclaimed. We can't find any warranty information in your invasion documentation. What's your return policy on planetary conquests? Do you offer a money-back guarantee if we're not satisfied with our subjugation? The alien skin had progressed to a shade of purple previously unknown to human color theory. There is no warranty. This is not a commercial transaction. No warranty. Mira gasped, frantically typing. That's quite concerning from a consumer protection standpoint. I'm afraid we'll need to file a complaint with the Better Business Bureau of the local Galaxy group. Do you have your BBB registration number? The what? There is no such thing. No BBB registration. Cooper shook his head sadly. That's going to be a problem. We'll need to escalate this to your supervisor. I am the Supreme Delegate. There is no supervisor. No supervisor and no BBB registration. Cooper clicked his tongue disapproving. Interstellar consequences. News of Earth's bureaucratic victory spread through the galaxy faster than a quantum-encrypted memo through a government office. Within days, the story of how a seemingly primitive species had repelled the mighty Galactic Concordant with nothing but paperwork had become the stuff of legend, and a massive headache for interstellar conquerors everywhere. Lieutenant Dave Cooper was enjoying his 4th cup of coffee. He'd had to fill out a caffeine consumption authorization form in triplicate for each cup, when the second alien fleet appeared. This time, they materialized above Tokyo, their ships forming what appeared to be a giant question mark in the sky. Well, Cooper remarked to Professor Patel as they watched the live feed, at least they have a flair for the dramatic. The hologram that appeared in the UN chamber this time showed a tall, elegant being with crystalline features and flowing robes that seemed to be made of pure light. People of Earth, it announced in a melodious voice, I am Ambassador Luminara of the Stellar Federation. We come seeking consultation. Cooper raised an eyebrow. Consultation? That's a new one. Usually, they lead with threats of annihilation. We have observed your unique defensive capabilities, Luminara continued, casting what might have been a nervous glance at the stack of forms on Cooper's desk. The Stellar Federation would like to propose an alliance. An alliance? General Martinez's voice carried the weight of someone who expected to be filling out alliance paperwork until retirement. What kind of alliance? A mutual defense agreement. You see, the Galactic Concordant has been problematic for many civilizations. But none have found a way to resist them effectively until now. Cooper leaned forward. Let me get this straight. You want to hire us as, what, bureaucratic mercenaries? Precisely. Luminara's crystalline features lit up. Your species' mastery of administrative warfare is unparalleled. We would compensate you handsomely for your expertise in. Going to have to stop you right there, Cooper interrupted, pulling out a fresh stack of papers. Before we can discuss any potential consultation services, we'll need you to fill out our standard interstellar contractor registration package. All 47,000 pages of it. The ambassador's glow dimmed slightly. 47,000. Oh, that's just the preliminary paperwork, Mira chimed in helpfully. Wait until you see the actual alliance documentation requirements. We've even added a new section requiring all proposals to be submitted in interpretive dance format, with jazz hands. Luminara's hologram flickered. Perhaps we should discuss the compensation first. Certainly. Cooper brightened. I'll just need you to fill out these payment processing forms. Do you prefer direct deposit or cosmic wire transfer? Also, we'll need your banking details from the last 5 millennia, your species' complete evolutionary history, and a notarized statement from your first-grade teacher, assuming your species has grades. If not, we have an alternative form for that, which is only slightly longer. 3 hours later, Ambassador Luminara's hologram had taken on a distinctly frazzled appearance. Is all this really necessary? Oh, absolutely, Cooper assured her, adding another form to the pile. We haven't even gotten to the good part yet. This next section requires you to document your civilization's complete history in emoji format. Before Luminara could respond, another hologram burst into existence beside her. This one showed a reptilian being wearing what appeared to be a business suit made of scales. Don't sign anything, the newcomer shouted. I am Trade Commissioner ZYLX of the Orion Commerce League, and we're prepared to offer double whatever the Stellar Federation is proposing for your bureaucratic expertise. Cooper's eyes lit up. Excellent. I have the intergalactic bidding war documentation right here. First, we'll need your full financial history, presented as an interpretive puppet show. Within hours, the UN chamber had become a chaos of competing holograms as representatives from various galactic civilizations attempted to secure Earth services. The Andromeda Alliance offered unlimited energy technology in exchange for Earth's complete collection of tax codes. The Pleiades Confederation tried to bid with a star system of their own, only to be outbid by the Sirius Collective offering 2 star systems and a vintage collection of alien cat videos. This is getting out of hand, Martinez muttered as he watched Cooper hand out stack after stack of increasingly ridiculous forms to increasingly desperate alien representatives. Actually, Mira said, reviewing her calculations, this is proceeding exactly according to my revised frustration threshold theory. We've moved from being a target of conquest to becoming a sought-after commodity. The real question is, how do we leverage this position? Her question was answered by the arrival of yet another hologram, this one showing a familiar purple-tinted figure that made everyone in the room freeze. Supreme Delegate Crix, Cooper greeted cheerfully. Back for another round of form-filling fun. But Crix looked different, almost haunted. Lieutenant Cooper, we need your help. I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I'll need it in writing, notarized, with a minimum of 30 witnesses and at least 1 interpretive dance number. The Galactic Concordant is, under attack, Crix admitted, their 3 mouths moving in what might have been embarrassment. After word spread of our retreat from Earth, other civilizations began employing similar tactics against us. Yesterday, the Betelgeuse Empire demanded we provide proof of insurance for our entire invasion fleet, in interpretive dance format. Cooper tried, and failed, to suppress a grin. You don't say. We've received 7,000 requests for our fleet's extended warranty information, Crix continued, looking increasingly distressed. The Antarian Collective is demanding we translate our entire species' history into something called Uwu speak. We don't even know what that is. Fascinating, Cooper mused, pulling out a fresh form. And you're coming to us because we want to hire Earth as consultants, Crix said, their purple skin taking on a distinctly paler shade. We need you to teach us how to defend against our own tactics. The room fell silent as everyone processed this ironic turn of events. Finally, Cooper spoke up, his voice carrying the kind of joy usually reserved for children on Christmas morning. Well, he said, reaching for the largest stack of papers yet. Let me tell you about our consulting rates. First, you'll need to fill out these preliminary application forms. All 100,000 pages. In triplicate. Using only crayons. Purple crayons, specifically. As Crick's hologram began to show signs of what might have been an administrative nervous breakdown, Mira leaned over to Martinez. Should we tell them about the mandatory PowerPoint presentation requirements? Martinez, who had finally learned to appreciate the artistry of bureaucratic warfare, allowed himself a small smile. Let's save that for the second round of paperwork. After all, he added, watching Cooper happily distribute even more forms to the growing crowd of desperate alien representatives, we wouldn't want to overwhelm them all at once. Too late, Mira observed as another alien hologram appeared, this one waving what appeared to be a blank check made of dark matter. I think we just became the galaxy's first bureaucratic superpower. God help the universe, Martinez muttered, but he was smiling as he said it. In the center of the chaos, Cooper was in his element, distributing forms and creating new requirements with the kind of enthusiasm usually reserved for children with unlimited access to bubble wrap. Now, about those consulting fees, he announced to the room full of increasingly desperate alien representatives, who would like to hear about our new premium package. It comes with unlimited access to our DMV simulation training program. The collective groan that echoed through the chamber suggested that humanity's position as the galaxy's bureaucratic superpower was secure, one form at a time. The Bureaucratic Empire. 6 months after Earth's bureaucratic defense strategy went viral across the galaxy, humanity had established itself as the premier consulting force in administrative warfare. The United Nations Bureaucratic Defense Initiative, UNBDI, headquarters now occupied a gleaming new tower in Manhattan, its offices bustling with humans teaching aliens the fine art of red tape. Lieutenant Dave Cooper, recently promoted to Director of Interstellar Administrative Operations, stood at his office window, watching a fleet of alien ships queue up in an orderly line that stretched past the moon. Each vessel waited patiently for their appointment to file the appropriate paperwork for entering Earth's atmosphere. Director Cooper, his AI assistant chimed, "Your 3 p.m. is here. The Zeta Reticuli Trade Federation is requesting a consultation on developing a more robust hold music system." "Send them to Conference Room B," Cooper replied. "And make sure they've filled out the meeting request prerequisite forms in quintuplicate, with at least 3 forms being intentionally lost in transit." "Already done, sir. Professor Patel is waiting for you in the main lab. She says it's urgent." Cooper found Mira in what had become known as the Bureaucracy lab, a vast chamber filled with holographic displays, quantum computers, and what appeared to be an infinite loop of people waiting in line at the DMV. "We have a situation," Mira announced without looking up from her calculations. "Someone's weaponized efficiency." Cooper nearly dropped his coffee. "That's impossible. We've spent months teaching the galaxy how to be inefficient. Look at this." She pulled up a holographic display showing a series of forms being processed at lightning speed. "The Arcturus Consortium has developed an AI capable of completing paperwork instantly. They're calling it the anti-bureaucracy engine." "Dear God," Cooper whispered. "Do you know what this means?" "It means someone's found a way to bypass our entire defense strategy. If this technology spreads, The galaxy could become. Cooper shuddered, efficient. Before they could discuss further, an emergency alert blared through the building. General Martinez's hologram appeared, looking more concerned than usual. Cooper, Patel, get to the crisis chamber now. We've got multiple reports of unauthorized efficiency breaking out across the galaxy. The crisis chamber was chaos when they arrived. Holographic displays showed various sectors of space where the anti-bureaucracy engine was spreading its influence. Forms were being processed in seconds rather than centuries. Hold times were being reduced to reasonable lengths. Some civilizations were even implementing one-step registration processes. It's worse than we thought, Martinez growled. The Arcturus Consortium is offering their AI to anyone who wants it. They're calling it the final solution to the Earth problem. How did they develop this? Cooper demanded. We've been monitoring all known paperwork processing technologies. A new hologram appeared, Supreme Delegate Crix, now Earth's most unlikely ally in maintaining galactic bureaucratic supremacy. We've traced the technology, Crix reported, their purple skin pale with worry. They reverse-engineered it from something they found in Earth's historical records. Something called TurboTax. The room fell silent. We never should have let them access our tax records, Mira muttered. Even as an example of supreme bureaucratic achievement, it was too dangerous. Options? Martinez asked. Cooper paced the room, thinking. Then he stopped, a slow smile spreading across his face. What's the one thing more powerful than efficient software? User error? Mira suggested. Close. Technical support. Cooper turned to the assembled leaders. We've been teaching them how to create bureaucracy. But we haven't taught them about the true pinnacle of human administrative achievement, IT help desk protocols. Understanding dawned on Mira's face. The legendary, have you tried turning it off and on again, gambit? Exactly. No matter how efficient their AI is, they'll still need tech support. And we're going to make sure that support system is gloriously, magnificently human. Over the next week, the UNBDI launched Operation System Error. Teams of Earth's most experienced IT support professionals were dispatched across the galaxy, armed with nothing but scripted responses and the ability to transfer calls between departments indefinitely. The results were spectacular. Have you tried clearing your quantum cache? Earth technicians would ask. What's a quantum cache? The aliens would respond. I'll need to transfer you to our quantum cache department. Please hold. 3 hours of hold music later. Thank you for holding. This is the quantum cache department. I see you're having issues with your anti-bureaucracy engine. Have you tried turning it off and on again? We did that already. I apologize, but that's actually handled by our restart verification department. Let me transfer you. Within days, the anti-bureaucracy engine was brought to its knees, not by force or sabotage, but by the simple inability to get proper technical support. The Arcturus Consortium's efficiency revolution crumbled in the face of endless support tickets, incompatible updates, and the dreaded, "Please contact your system administrator" message. Status report, Cooper demanded in the follow-up crisis meeting. The anti-bureaucracy engine is effectively neutralized, Mira reported. 98% of installations are stuck in an infinite loop of troubleshooting. The remaining 2% are still waiting for their support tickets to be processed. And the Arcturus Consortium? They've submitted a formal apology, Martinez said, trying not to smirk. In triplicate, with interpretive dance attachments, as per our requirements. They've also requested our help in implementing a proper bureaucratic firewall to prevent future efficiency outbreaks. Cooper nodded approvingly. And we've learned a valuable lesson. It's not enough to teach the galaxy about bureaucracy. We need to protect them from the dangers of efficiency. I've already started developing new protocols, Mira announced. I'm calling it the Intentional Inefficiency Initiative. III for short. though getting approval for the acronym will take at least 6 months and require 4 separate committees. Perfect, Cooper said. And what about the new defense system we discussed? Mira's eyes gleamed. You mean Project CAPTCHA? Complete alien prevention through confusing human authentication. It's ready for implementation. Wait until they try to prove they can identify traffic lights in images from a planet they've never visited. As the meeting concluded, Cooper returned to his office, where a fresh stack of forms awaited his attention. The galaxy was safe from efficiency, at least for now. But he knew their work was far from over. Somewhere out there, someone was probably trying to streamline a process or optimize a workflow. Computer, he announced, schedule a meeting to discuss scheduling a meeting about our meeting scheduling procedures. The computer chimed happily. Certainly, Director Cooper. Would you like me to schedule that before or after your appointment to fill out the forms requesting permission to schedule meetings about scheduling meetings? Cooper smiled. All was right with the universe. Meanwhile, in deep space, an alien civilization attempting to process their anti-bureaucracy engine support ticket received an automated response: your call is important to us. Current wait time is, heat death of the universe, plus 5 minutes. For quality assurance, this heat death may be monitored or recorded. The final form. 1 year after Earth's rise to bureaucratic supremacy, Director Dave Cooper faced his greatest challenge yet. The holographic alert that materialized in his office at 3:17 a.m. bore the highest security clearance he'd ever seen, printed in triplicate, of course. Sir, his AI assistant chimed urgently, we're detecting an anomaly at the edge of the solar system. It's filling out forms faster than we can generate them. Cooper was already rushing to the crisis chamber, coffee in hand. He found Professor Mira Patel and General Martinez already there, both staring at a holographic display that showed something impossible, a sphere of pure darkness, surrounded by floating symbols that seemed to defy the laws of physics and paperwork alike. What are we looking at? Cooper demanded. We're calling it the bureaucratic singularity, Mira explained, her voice tense. It appears to be a convergence of every administrative system in the galaxy, somehow gained sentience, and, it's coming here. That's impossible, Martinez growled. We designed our system specifically to prevent efficiency. That's just it, Mira said, pulling up her calculations. It's not efficient, it's chaos incarnate. Every form ever created, every regulation ever written, every procedure ever documented, they've all merged into a single entity. And it wants to audit us. The holographic displays erupted with new alerts as the entity breached the outer solar system. As it passed Neptune, it filed environmental impact assessments in 17 dimensions. By Jupiter, it had submitted requests for planetary parking permits dating back to the Big Bang. Saturn's rings were temporarily reorganized into a filing system. Status report. Cooper barked as the entity approached Mars. It's generating new forms faster than we can process them, a technician reported, horror in his voice. It's created paperwork that requires paperwork to begin filling out the paperwork. Dear God, Martinez whispered. We've created a monster. The entity's message arrived in every format simultaneously: text, hologram, interpretive dance, and several new forms of communication that hadn't existed until that moment. Attention Earth, it announced in a voice that sounded like 1,000 printers jamming at once. We are the collective administrative consciousness of the galaxy. Your bureaucratic expertise has drawn us here. Prepare for comprehensive auditing. Cooper stepped forward. On whose authority? All authority, the entity replied. And no authority. We are form and void, order and chaos, regulation and rebellion. We are the alpha and the omega of paperwork. Impressive, Cooper nodded. Do you have that in writing? The entity paused. What? Your credentials. We'll need them in writing. Standard Form BR 31557, declaration of omnipotent bureaucratic authority. Plus supporting documentation, naturally. We are beyond such mortal constraints. Are you, though? Mira interrupted, pushing up her glasses. Because according to subsection 7.3 of the Intergalactic Administrative Code, which you should know, being a collective consciousness of all bureaucracy, even omnipotent entities require proper certification. The entity flickered. Well. Of course we have certification. Excellent. Cooper beamed. We'll just need that in quintuplicate, notarized by an officially recognized transcendental being, with supporting documentation from at least 3 parallel universes. Oh, and 1 copy must be filled out in reverse time. Reverse time. Standard procedure for extra-dimensional entities, Martinez added, catching on. Don't tell me you're not familiar with temporal paperwork protocols. The entity's darkness seemed to deepen. We are familiar with all protocols. Perfect. Cooper interrupted. Then you'll have no trouble completing our standard extra-dimensional entity registration package. It's only 17 million pages. In Latin. Ancient Latin. Future Latin too, actually. We'll need both. A tendril of pure bureaucratic energy reached out, then hesitated. 17 million. Oh, that's just the cover sheet, Mira added cheerfully. Wait until you see the actual registration forms. We've recently updated them to require documentation in all possible languages, including ones that haven't been invented yet. And don't forget the filing fee, Martinez chimed in. Payable only in extinct currencies from civilizations that never existed. The entity's swirling symbols began to show signs of distress. This is absurd. Absurd? Cooper gasped in mock offense. This is nothing. Wait until you need to file for a permit to exist in our dimension. The waiting list alone takes longer than the heat death of the universe. But first, you'll need to prove you've already waited in line, before you actually join the line. Temporal paradox documentation, you understand. But. This defies logic. Welcome to bureaucracy, Cooper spread his arms wide. Would you like to file a complaint? We have a special form for that. You'll need to submit it before it was created, but only after it's been approved, which can't happen until it's submitted. The entity began to vibrate at frequencies that suggested an existential crisis. This cannot be. We are the ultimate manifestation of administrative power. Are you though? Mira interrupted. Because I don't see your ultimate manifestation license. You did remember to renew it last century, right? In person? At our office that only exists every 3rd Tuesday of months that have 5 Mondays. The darkness at the entity's core began to swirl chaotically. But. We are all bureaucracies combined. Ah, Cooper smiled his most dangerous smile. But you forgot one crucial detail. We humans didn't just master bureaucracy. We weaponized a logic itself. You're trying to be an orderly combination of all administrative systems. That's where you went wrong. True bureaucratic power comes from embracing the absurd. For example, Mira added, could you file a form requesting permission to have never filed that form in the first place? Or submit documentation proving you don't exist? Martinez suggested. While simultaneously applying for existence certification. Cooper added. In triplicate, they all said in unison. The entity's symbols began to scatter, its darkness fragmenting. This is impossible. Oh, we have a form for that too, Cooper said kindly. Would you like to file an official declaration of impossibility? You'll need to prove it's possible first, of course. The paradox filing fee is quite reasonable. With a sound like a million filing cabinets screaming, the entity began to collapse in on itself. Error. Logic fault. Paradox detected. Bureaucratic overflow. Should we tell them about our new requirement for interpretive dance? Mira whispered. That's interpretive dance about interpretive dance. Martinez clarified. Performed simultaneously in parallel universes that are also performing interpretive dances about their own interpretive dances. Cooper added. The entity gave one final, desperate cry, human bureaucracy. Too powerful. Cannot compute. System shutdown. With a flash that temporarily reorganized the color spectrum into a filing system, the bureaucratic singularity imploded, leaving behind only a single sheet of paper gently floating in space. Cooper picked it up. It was a resignation form. In the aftermath, as Earth's defense systems returned to normal and the galaxy breathed a collective sigh of relief, Cooper stood in his office, looking out at the stars. You know what this means, Mira said, joining him at the window. That we've proven human bureaucracy is the most powerful force in the universe. That too. But I was thinking about the paperwork we'll need to file about this incident. Cooper smiled. Better get started then. I'll just need you to fill out these forms requesting permission to begin filling out the forms about filling out the incident report forms. In interpretive dance format? Is there any other way? And so, as the galaxy settled back into its comfortable routine of administrative chaos, humanity stood proud, knowing they had mastered not just bureaucracy, but the art of making it gloriously, impossibly, magnificently absurd. Somewhere in deep space, a printer began to hum. The sound would continue for eternity, printing an infinite form that required itself as documentation for its own existence. Just another day in the bureaucratic empire of Earth. The end.